growing up, all I heard about was sports, sports, sports. Gotta play sports, gotta watch sports. Well, I could have played with sports action figures. Let's take a look at them. Welcome back to the Junk Room, everybody. It's me, the Junk Man, coming back at you with a video I probably didn't think I would ever do. Anyone that watches my channels knows I'm not a sports guy. Growing up, I had friends that played Little League, and I just couldn't understand why they didn't want to play in the woods or build forts and stuff on the weekend. They'd rather go hit a ball with a bat, or they would play, we called it midget football. I don't know if that's PC now. Maybe they call it little person football or dwarf football. I don't know what they call it today. But I never really got into sports. Now, my grandma, when I would go over it, sorry about that, the dog decided to be loud chewing on plastic. Anyway, I was saying I used to go to my grandma's every weekend, and that's where I kept my Star Wars toys. She was really into watching the Braves, so I really understood baseball. I could watch baseball and follow it. I tried to watch football, but it seemed really slow. They would play for about 3 seconds and stand around for 10 minutes, and it would just bore me to death. And then, of course, in the 90s, baseball came back because I'm from Georgia, and the Braves were huge. You couldn't go anywhere without seeing Brave stuff, and I could name almost everybody on the team. And I loved, although I didn't like sports, never really liked sports, I love playing sports video games, especially baseball. Again, it was simple, I could understand. But we're not here talking about video games. We're talking about action figures or toys related to sports. And I didn't know until I got ready to do this video there was so many. I broke it down to a lot of them, but I could probably make a whole series of videos. So if you enjoy this one, let me know and I'll do a part 2. But before we get into that, let's check with Larry and see if Larry played. And Larry, did you play any sports?
I played a few sports here and there. T-ball was really good at, but I was really, really good at pinochle. I was the #1 pinochle player on the planet Earth.
Larry, I would have thought hockey would have been a big sport on Hoth, but shows I don't really know sports. Now, have to start the action figure talk with the biggest, most popular of them all, Kenner's starting lineup. Started in 1988, went throughout the 90s and into the 2000s. This was a huge toy line, and they covered everything: baseball, football, soccer, hockey, Cooperstown. I never played that sport. I'm not exactly sure what that sport is, but they played a lot of sports. This was so popular. In 1988, another company called Mattel released displays for the figures. Yeah, so it wasn't kids just buying this or sports fans. It's probably, adults buying them too, but they look pretty cool. I wish somebody would do this with Star Wars today. Surprised Kenner didn't sue them and try to do their own. I don't know why they didn't do that. Probably one of the first sports action figure lines was back in 1977. Yeah, the year Star Wars came out, and you had American Teammates. This is like football players, a whole bunch of different football players. And they look pretty cool at the time. I think if I was into football in 1977, I would have got these. But maybe I'm missing something. Maybe I missed something when it comes to sports. I'm going to let Larry roll a clip of some highlights from sports throughout this video, and maybe I'll see what I'm missing. Just roll one, Larry.
Has a lot of room. Is going to launch one. He was behind the line of scrimmage, and that is Freddie Mitchell making the catch.
That is amazing.
That does look exciting. Now, if it was like that the whole game, I probably would have played it right there. But we looked at the action figures for 1977, so let's stay in 1977, because he also made a basketball player, Big Shot. Now, I think they did a few of these. I think they did a football one, but I remember this. My cousin had this. It was like a big old plastic toy, and he would do free throws. It was awesome. This was a pretty cool toy. I have to admit, this was a cool toy to have. I think a lot of you watching this video probably had this one. In 1992, there was MPV Sports Stars. These were like wrestling buddies. Remember the wrestling buddy dolls? Well, these was football players. I think it was just football players, but you could wrestle around with your football player. I guess take them outside. I wish you can't really throw a football to them, so I don't really see the point in that, but you can see what the gimmick was. The wrestling buddies were huge, so they did sports-related ones. And in 1983, they released a line of basketball figures, but they were rubber. Bend'ems. They were like Bend'ems. You remember Star Wars Bend'ems? Well, these were basketball players called All-Pro Shot. Kind of freaky looking, but if you're into basketball or you're into rubber things, you might enjoy this. Might have. Larry, roll another clip to see if I enjoy this one.
On vous rappelle d'être ce record dans un concours international senior
Okay, I'm starting to see some kind of the appeal here. Let's see. In 1996, football was back when it came to action figures. Yep, 1996 action figures based on football players. From a lot of different of the teams and everything, they look pretty well done also. There was also action figures again in 1982, and this one was released by Tonka. Remember Tonka? They made these big old trucks? Well, they made NFL players. Check these out. NFL players from all the different leagues. They're a little cheap looking. I mean, they are kind of a little cheapy looking, but they are sports figures. Larry, let's take another look at another clip.
Gold medalist. Check out this move. Pretty amazing that she did all of that and did not throw a scud.
When it comes to toys, action figures for collectors, for adults, probably the name that jumps out is McFarlane. Started off as Todd Toys. They made a lot of movie figures, even rock stars, and yeah, they got into sports acting in the year 2000, and they went through everything. Again, hockey, baseball, football, you name a sport, probably is McFarlane made it. They made a lot of good ones. Also released in 1998 was a Vince Lombardi doll or figure. Vince Lombardi got his own figure. I'm not really sure who that is. I think he's a coach. From looking at the package, I'm not really sure. Larry, run another clip. Whew, maybe I am missing something not watching sports. In 1983, Mattel released a Wayne Gretzky doll. Yeah, you know, the hockey. He played hockey up in Canada. Man, can you believe they made that? Yeah, but that's not the first time they turned a sports hero into a doll or figure, whatever you want to call it. Back in 1970, Mego released a Broadway Joe Namath. A lot of you know him as a football player. I don't know who he played for. North Dakota maybe, but I remember him as being that dude from the Brady Bunch that Bobby wanted to see. Bobby played football with in the backyard on that artificial grass they got back there. That's what I know him from. I knew he liked to wear a bunch of fur coats. I don't know why, but he was really huge in the 70s. You couldn't, even if you didn't know sports, you knew there was a couple names growing up. You knew if you didn't know sports. You knew Joe Montana, of course, and of course you knew Mean Joe Green. How could you not know that? I got to see another clip, Larry. I got to see another clip. Whew, I got a lot of catching up to do when it comes to sports highlights. Now, back in 1975, they released an O.J. Simpson doll. At the time, we didn't care, but now it seems a little funny. An O.J. Simpson toy line. Let's move on. In 1997, they took another famous sports star and made him into an action figure, and that was Little Penny. I don't know exactly who Little Penny is. I'm guessing he's a sports player because he's wearing a jersey, so you might tell me no, he's a country singer or something. But Little Penny, I guess, is a sports hero, and they made a toy of him. A Little Penny. Larry, I'll tell you what, just down here on the bottom of the screen somewhere, just run highlights throughout the thing so everyone can watch it. Well, that was Kenner's 1993 Shack Attack figure line. How could anyone forget that? Shaquille O'Neal. He's had 2 toy lines. He also had Steel by Kenner. I wonder if they used the same mold, but they already had Shack Attack. Wait, is that the same person? Shaq? Yeah, that's the same person, right? Like I said, I don't know sports. Let's see. In 1983, there was also toy football cars. Not just action figures, cars. NFL Huddles. Yep. Little weird looking cars. I'll be honest with you. They're kind of weird looking cars. I don't understand. And in 1992, a company released USA Teen dolls to stick on your car window. If you're a fan of, let's say, the Pittsburgh Steelers, if you're a fan of the Dallas Cowboys, hell, even if you were a fan of the Alabama Bandits, you could put a figure of your favorite player, had little suction cups on his hand, you stick it on the window and everything. Crazy, right? I know, crazy. But Larry, you're going to have to pull that one up so I can see it, and I need to see that one full screen.
Let's hear it for Elsa Haas. Follow Elsa and all of the angels at Victoria's Secret on Instagram and Twitter.
Woo! I see why you guys like watching sports. Now let's look at probably the oddest sports player I could find. In 2003, they released the albino bowler. It's an albino bowler. He bowls and he's albino. I couldn't figure out his name. I don't think this is based on a real guy. Who knows? Man, I wish they did Kingpin action figures. Kingpin would have been a good... No. Now, I do like some sports movies. Kingpin, Tin Cup. Do you count Big Lebowski as a sports movie? They play bowling in it. But albino bowler. Seen it all now. Seen it all now. Anyway, that's... Let's look at one more full screen. Whew. Oh, I gotta go get a sock and watch some highlight sports reels. Now I see. Now I know why John back in 1983 loved to watch sports all the time. He's like, I'm going home to watch sports. I can see why. Where has sports been all my life? Let me know about some sports toys you had as a kid. And until the next video, thumbs up on my content, subscribe to the channel, and we'll talk again. Whew, shit.
Hey, Junkman channel popping though.
Thank you, sir, for that unsolicited testimony.